While the injury attorneys at The Advocates can't actually prevent you from being in a cycling accident, they will be by your side to support you following your accident. Our legal services won't cost you a dime out of pocket, so when you need an injury attorney, call us. We're The Advocates, your Utah personal injury attorneys. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty program. Again, good to see you, my friends. I just work here. We had an interesting beginning to the show. As always, the Monty Show presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business who are working in your community to fight hunger in our child population, our young people. And I know a lot of people asked me yesterday about, well, how many kids really are fighting, hunger? A lot. You would be surprised how many kids don't have any idea what they're going to do for breakfast, lunch, or dinner today. We can help with that. You guys work with The Advocates. Donate to The Advocates on Venmo. Advocates donations on Venmo. Let's help fight hunger in the children's population in our communities. That's what The Advocates are doing. They're partnered with the Murray Children's Pantry, which works so hard to provide meals for young people that are struggling for nutrition. And I know that it sounds crazy, but as we come into spring and summer, it's an epidemic in this country. And I love The Advocates. I love partnering with The Advocates for this exact reason. They understand what the communities they serve are facing. And right now there is a real need to help kids figure out where their next meal is coming from. The Murray Children's Pantry does that. The Advocates are trying to raise money to fund the Murray Children's Pantry. If you have $1, and I mean seriously, if you have $1, $5, anything that you can donate, please consider sending The Advocates a donation on Venmo. Advocates donations. This coming Friday, we'll do our Giving Friday all around the Murray Children's Pantry and The Advocates effort to end hunger amongst our children. But you can start donating today on Venmo. Advocates donations. Good morning, everybody. Who's first in today? Big shout out, Gary.
Whoa.
Dude, I'm surprised. You probably didn't sleep last night after the absolute beatdown that Angel Reese, suffered at the hands of a player that is far superior to Angel Reese.
Right.
And isn't this the discussion of the day? Isn't this, topically speaking, what everybody is talking about? Caitlin Clark beats Angel Reese. Iowa beats LSU. Iowa is on to the women's Final Four. And what is so fascinating is the vitriol in division that is surrounding Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark right now. And I don't know that we have ever seen this in women's sports. And I also think this is an indication that women's sports and women's college basketball is growing leaps and bounds. Last night, center stage, who wasn't watching Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark go head to head? And the tough part is that Angel Reese got 100% outclassed by Caitlin Clark. And if this was not the revenge game of all revenge games, after all of the shenanigans that Angel Reese put forward last year with the waving in front of the face and the ring pointing and just all of the ridiculousness that Angel Reese displayed last year when LSU ultimately went on to win a championship, Angel Reese now claims victimhood. And Jake, I am just not here for it.
I don't understand why this was the stance last night out of Angel Reese. I don't understand why you couldn't just simply say, hey, we played a good game, but we got beat by a better player. I think that's the proper answer. Your head coach said that, but you seemingly went on this rant about how you're a victim and you're getting, death threats and all this horrible stuff is happening to you. And it's like, dude, like at some point, if you're going to run your mouth to the level that she ran her mouth, you have to have some sense of class when you lose and say, yeah, you know what? Caitlin was the better player tonight. I congratulate them. I give them all the credit in the world. And, obviously I'll be looking towards the draft. I mean, that's what should have been said. But instead we go on this long-winded rant about, making sure the little girls look up to me and making sure my teammates don't see me down and standing strong. And, I got death threats and I've been sexualized and all this stuff. And I'm just like, dude, you weren't talking about any of that when you were winning. You weren't talking about any of that when you were pointing to your finger and talking all that junk. And now that you lost, you're wanting to play the victim card. And that's my problem with Angel Reese. I'm not saying she's a bad player. I'm not saying she sucks. She's very clearly, one of their best players, very clearly super talented, very clearly going to be in the league. Like, great. All that is pretty much self-explanatory. But I'm not here for people who talk junk and then don't want to take it back. I just can't do it.
I was a little taken aback by Angel Reese in the postgame last night. Isn't it the easy button when you do what Angel Reese did last year? And when you treat Caitlin Clark the way you treated her with such an unbelievable level of disrespect, then your ego clearly got the best of you, because let's not forget, Angel Reese had off-court issues that prevented her from playing. Kim Mulkey kept her off the team early in the season. It was controversial. It was much talked about. And then when you get completely outshined by Caitlin Clark, you can't sit at the post-game press conference and play the victim card.
I just try to stand strong. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time. And I just try to stand strong for my teammates, because I don't want them to see me down and, like, not be there for them. So I just want to always just know, like, I'm still a human. Like, all this has happened since I won the national championship, and I said the other day, I haven't had peace since then. And it sucks, but I still wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything, and I would still sit here and say, like, I'm unapologetically me. I'm going to always leave that mark and be who I am and stand on that. And hopefully the little girls that look up to me, and hopefully I give them some type of inspiration that, hopefully it's not this hard and all the things that come at you, but keep being who you are. Keep waking up every day. Keep being motivated, staying who you are, staying 10 toes, don't back down, and just be confident.
Get a fucking job. Like, what are we talking about? This is what I cannot stand. I just haven't been happy since then. Okay, give all the NIL money back. Give the ring back. Nobody did this to you, Angel Reese. No, you did this to yourself. Your actions and your words, the ego, right? The taunting of Caitlin Clark. She beat your ass soundly last night to a historic level, Caitlin Clark last night. And the best part about all of this, and Angel Reese sitting up on the dais saying that she's had death threats and I'm not happy, and I just get up every day and I try to move on and be a role model for the little girls.
I just try to stand strong.
You did this to yourself. And you know what the worst part of this is? We're not talking about the solid performance that Angel Reese had last night. What was it, 17 and 20? Because of what you did, Angel Reese. You are accountable for your actions. And now you want to talk about being a victim. And now you want to talk about death threats. And now you want to talk about how it's tough to go on. Well, don't act like a jackass.
Yeah.
Don't. And the other part of this that you have to remember is you wanted equality. And we always talk about how women are treated differently, and they are. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. You wanted equality. Welcome to equality. Shut up and dribble. Remember that whole thing? Well, Angel Reese, maybe you should shut up and just play basketball. Maybe don't point to your ring finger. Maybe don't do the nobody sees you. Maybe I don't know, maybe don't be a poor winner. Maybe have class and dignity. But instead, you chose violence. You wanted equality? Welcome to equality. To the victor goes the spoils. Last year, when you were winning and you were chasing Caitlin Clark around the court, what happened to your unhappiness then?
Yeah.
Where were the death threats then? Oh, I don't believe that she got death threats.
No.
I think that is, I am not, it is possible. We live in a world of Neanderthals and hyenas, and certainly that is possible. But you cannot tell me that you're just miserably unhappy and you're a victim and, oh my God, how am I going to get out of bed today? I don't buy that shit for a second. I think this is an act. I think this is a spotlight grab. I think this is anything to not have to say Caitlin Clark is the best basketball player any of us have seen in the women's game.
Agreed completely. And I think that, folks who like to talk junk don't like to give credit to the one they were talking junk to. And I think that's the part that bothers me, man. In all the people, like, you look at all the hate that guys like Deion Sanders get and, Colorado gets for the way they go about their business. And it's like, hey, man, when they lose, they tell you, hey, like, yeah, they were the better team tonight. And we did this and that. And that's why I respect what they're doing there, right? Like, I just can't do, hey, I'm going to, and make a great point, I'm going to chase someone around the floor to talk junk to them. And then when I lose the next year, my final year, I'm going to play victim and I'm going to cry and I'm going to, it's just like,
and I'm going to be unapologetically me.
It's so tired. If this is unapologetically you, I don't want you on my team, bro. We can find someone to go out and get 17 and 20.
And what this really is our current culture with NIL and the transfer portal. And
yeah,
Angel Reese is getting paid. Angel Reese is a star, and she had no idea how to handle that. Angel Reese had no idea how to handle the national stage. Angel Reese had no idea how to win gracefully. Angel Reese clearly has no idea how to lose gracefully. This is immaturity, and she needs to grow up, and she needs to understand that it's okay not to be the absolute best at what you do. And she wants to be unapologetically herself. Be yourself. You're a really good basketball player. You are a really valuable brand. So why are you stooping to this level? And the question I guess you have to ask yourself is, does this change into adulthood? Because I think we all forget these are young 20-somethings.
Yeah.
These are 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids who've never been held accountable for anything, who've never been second best at anything. And this is, in my opinion, this is a great illustration of what happens when you hand a kid millions of dollars and you don't say, hey, by the way, here's how you handle fame.
Mm-hmm.
Here's all the money. Here's how you handle fame. That is what this is. You don't sit up at a press conference and have everybody talk about what a victim you are and talk about what a leader you are and what a teammate you are. And we're here to support you, Angel Reese, because you lost a basketball game. Is that really that's what we're talking about? You need the entire world to support you because you lost a basketball game? Was the entire world supporting you when you were traipsing around the court, taunting Caitlin Clark last year? No. You know what the biggest problem was? Nobody said no. Nobody said that's not how we act when we win. Nobody said, hey, be better than that.
Yeah.
When you talked all that shit last year after you won, nobody said, hey, we should probably remember that the highest of highs are almost always accompanied by the lowest of lows. And if your lowest of low in this world is losing in the Elite Eight to Caitlin Clark, that's not so low.
No, it's not.
But you don't know how to handle it. And I don't know Angel Reese. And you know what my guess is? Angel Reese is learning some hard lessons right now. Because I don't think that she's a very humble human being. I don't think that she has probably ever suffered athletic loss in her entire life. And at some point, we need to learn how to lose.
It's always a bigger fish.
Right?
There's always a bigger fish. There's always someone who is a little bit better than you. And that applies to all of us. And I think that, it just bugs me to no end. Like Kim Mulkey runs this program in a way where it's all good to do all that when you're winning. But then when you're losing, Kim knows how to handle it. And I appreciate what she said.
Yeah, she was great.
But her players clearly don't. And again, it's this whole thing in athletics where it's like, hey, some of your best players are some of your weirdest people. We've seen it time and time again on the men's and the women's side. And so it just is this situation where we don't like to say, hey, you know what? I don't appreciate the way that Angel Reese acted last year, and I certainly don't appreciate it this year. And you're far less likable when you're going to talk all that junk.
Oh, man,
dude.
Isn't that the truth?
Like, you damn well better win that next game, because if you don't, you got it coming to you. And that's why I don't really have any type of issue saying, hey, like, you are classless. You do not know how to do this game off the court. You don't know, like, how to handle public relations, if you will.
But is it as simple as she needs to learn gratitude and humility? I don't
something
think
up that alley.
But it's more than that.
Yeah, like whether it's being humble or like understanding that just because you can get 20 rebounds a game doesn't mean your team is going to win. And I have this problem too. She is not like the best player we've ever seen. She's very good. She is a force down low. She is someone that can be a problem for any average ass team. But you know why she had nothing to say about this series? Because everything that decided this game, if you will, happened outside of the arc. Nothing that happened in the paint decided this game.
9 3-pointers from Caitlin Clark.
If she hadn't made those threes, they don't win the game.
Look at all those great assists. Look at the ball handling. She made her free throws. Angel Reese does not shoot free throws well. She does not shoot threes. Angel Reese is not the best player in college basketball. That's Caitlin Clark. And Angel Reese can't handle that. Angel Reese will not be able to, in my opinion, ever say, yeah, Caitlin Clark's a better player than I am. And she sort of gave her kudos last night, but then immediately went to death threats and I'm unhappy and I've been unhappy since we won. I don't know where that goes. And is Kim Mulkey part of the problem here? Potentially. She, as these articles came out this week in the LA Times and what was it? I guess I can't remember who wrote the Washington Post. Somebody wrote that huge article on her. But here nor there, my point is, you have a very hard to handle head coach, and any true superstar in any sport is going to be high maintenance. Any top performer in any genre is going to be high maintenance, right?
But is she a top performer? This is my problem. I feel like we're mischaracterizing Angel Reese. Yes, she's very good. I'm not sure she's in the group of best players in college basketball.
She's not Caitlin Clark or Paige Beckers. She's just not.
Like,
but she is top 10 players in college basketball right now.
Yeah.
She'll be a high round pick in the WNBA draft.
Certainly.
There's no question about that. Ice Cube didn't offer her $5 million. No, he offered Caitlin Clark $5 million. And a lot of people forget about this. Last night should have been about Caitlin Clark, and largely it was. But last night was also about the victimhood of Angel Reese. And I think one of the things that we have to remember is Angel Reese, again, she's a young gal. I totally get that. But we have to teach our kids how to win and how to lose. And I am probably nobody to talk. I am a terrible loser. I am so ultra competitive. But I think you also have to be able to say, hey, wow, that's a great shot. Hey, wow, that was a great game, Angel. Hey, that was a great game, Caitlin. Look at Kim Mulkey stopping and hugging Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark said after the game that Kim Mulkey told her, hey, I've never seen anybody like you. That's exactly what you should have said.
Yeah.
But Angel Reese, after chasing Caitlin Clark around that floor last year and doing all those antics, is not in a position to stop and say, hey, I've never seen anybody like you. You're a tremendous player. It was an honor to be on the floor with you. which is probably what you should have said, something like that.
But I think that your point about not teaching kids how to, I would just say we don't teach kids how to compete in the right way. Like, it's like, if you're winning, like, cool, man, you want to talk? Great. I'm a big believer you shouldn't be talking when you're behind. And you definitely shouldn't be talking when you're not the player on your team that decides victory or not against this particular matchup, right? And that's my biggest problem is that, and we see this in the league all the time. We see this in the NBA all the time, right? Guys want to talk junk, and it's the age-old Bron, Michael, Kobe stories where, these guys are having a bad night and you talk junk to them and all of a sudden they chop down a 20-point lead. Like, you shouldn't be talking, bro. What you should be doing is winning the game, then talking. You should go out and win and perform, then talk.
You have to teach people how to win and how to lose today, because there's so much money being thrown around, right? Like, you think about what I think there was a graphic from Front Office Sports. The average WNBA salary is $270,000. Let that sink in. So you're a woman who wants to play basketball. You achieve at the level that Caitlin Clark has achieved at. You're not going to be paid like the elites of the NBA. If you want to make that money, you probably have to go to prison in Russia, right? Like, that's what we've seen women. And I've been around a ton of elite basketball players in the female game. They all go to Europe. They all go to different continents. In the off season, like right now, they're the best players in the world that are female are playing in Europe and other continents. And they have to do that because they're only making a small percentage of what men make, and I understand that the WNBA doesn't make money. It doesn't bring the viewership that the NBA brings, but we're seeing that on the rise. Ice Cube offered Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in the Big Three. $5 million. That's more money than she will probably make in career earnings in the WNBA in base salary. Like, it's crazy to me, the pull that this gal has. Yet Angel Reese again steals the spotlight. And that's going to go away, because after today, nobody's going to talk about Angel Reese. Nobody. It is going to be a long, long road for her to remain relevant.
And I honestly, for me, I didn't even feel like Angel last night in the post game took the spotlight. I think what Angel did instead was go on this whole thing about being a victim, and people are like, dude, like, why is that what you chose to talk about? Like, do you have, like, it's amazing to me that some folks just have no idea that you can just simply say, hey, like, yeah, man, like, they were better tonight. Like, I don't even need her to say that Caitlin Clark's a better player than her. All I need you to say is, yeah, they were better tonight. Like,
Caitlin Clark put up a historic performance last night.
Like, hey, like, she shot the lights out. She deserves a ton of credit for that.
Multiple 40-point games.
Yeah.
9 3-pointers tying the all-time record. And it's what Kobe always said. It's what Jordan always said. It's what Caitlin Clark's dad, I think, talked about. I'm not going to talk about myself. I'm not going to talk about somebody else. I'm going to talk about my team. And what does Caitlin Clark talk about? What did she say last night? She talked about herself a little bit. She talked about the fact that she feels, and she's been talking about this leading up to this postseason, about how Caitlin Clark has said she feels the weight of the world. And that she essentially said she has imposter syndrome. Like, am I going to be able to do it again? Am I going to be able to perform at this high level so I don't disappoint my teammates, so I don't disappoint the fan base? Like, that's what you should be talking about. Not waving your hand in front of your face and pointing your ring finger, and that you got death threats and that you've been sexualized. And talk about your teammates. Talk about, hey, if you want to talk about all this other stuff, okay. Save that for down the road. Talk about the game last night. Talk about, hey, Angel Reese should have been talking about her teammates as they sat up there and talked about her. She should never have said anything other than Caitlin Clark she's a really good player. That was an amazing performance. And move on. Man, tough way to end my career. You want to sit up there and cry about your career coming to an end? I'm all good with that.
Yeah.
I don't care what your gender is, what your race is. If you want your career in college just came to an end, you know how tough that is? Your college basketball career came to an end. And the truth is, for people like Angel Reese and 99.9% of college basketball players, men and women, your basketball career came to an end. That's the peak right there. We will probably never see Angel Reese dominate as she did at LSU in the WNBA because it's a completely different level. It is, and in the NBA, I think we all know this. It's Steph Curry, man. Who dominates in the NBA or in the WNBA? Do the bigs dominate? They don't. The Stewarts of the world dominate.
Yeah.
Like you look at the way the game is played, the Angel Reeses of the world don't dominate. They fill up score sheets. They don't dominate.
Yeah.
Angel Reese cannot be the best player on her team if that team wants to win championship.
Totally agree.
It's the truth of the matter.
And for that reason alone, again, I'm going to keep saying you shouldn't be talking. Now, if you're like, and I've said this about the league for a long time, dude. If you're a 6'6" wing that decides your team's fate, okay, great, talk. Be that guy, right? That's cool. But if you're a role player of sorts, like if you're not the number one on your team, if you're doing a job and you're in the starting five and your job is to rebound and outlet, you shouldn't be talking. It's why I always said, hey, Rudy Gobert, stop talking to the officials, dude. Stop running your mouth, man. Nobody wants to hear it. You're not that guy. You're just not. Draymond, you're not that guy, dude. You're not. You're not anymore. Stop talking. Dylan Brooks, not that guy. Right? Now, you want to look at Bron, you want to look at Luka. Like, Luka's a great example.
I want to look at Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic, great example. Jokic doesn't talk all that much, right? He just beats you.
And wins MVPs.
Yeah, and championships. So now you know what it is. Like Luka's biggest problem is he hasn't won a title. He still talks, but at least he's the reason his team wins or loses on most nights. So I can at least, like, on some level, respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really interesting the way the game is played. It dictates who actually has access to the top of the table, right? Like you look at Luka. Luka's a guy that should be an MVP. Luka's a guy that should be a champion. But is Luka that dissimilar to Angel Reese in demeanor? He's not. He talks a lot. He whines. He complains. He bitches. He moans.
Mm-hmm.
It's never good enough. Last week when he was pointing, he drove to the basket and got fouled and said, "Holy F, I finally got a whistle." That's exactly my point. Yet you have a guy in Nikola Jokic who is, by all accounts, arguably the best player in the league, is a big, but doesn't score at the rim. How does he score? He plays in the pick and roll, he shoots threes, and he assists his teammates. That's today's game. To your point, why is Draymond Green irrelevant? Doesn't shoot the three, doesn't score, and he has a terrible attitude.
Yep.
And if Angel Reese can learn one thing, be Draymond early in your career. Because this late career Draymond is fading fast.
Yes.
Is fading fast.
Yeah.
And I just think it's an interesting ecosystem in college basketball
It's
right
the
now.
age-old discussion that we all know from the playground, dude. There's the kid who isn't good enough, so they talk. And then there's the kid who beats you every time who doesn't talk. And that's exactly what this is.
Isn't it crazy how sportsmanship has gone out the window?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And we start this now in Little League. Like, it's funny. We were watching a video of the legendary Big Al. I'm Big Al and I hit dingers.
Yes.
Well, he's not so big anymore. And he hit a home run like he never hits home runs. He's a college baseball player now.
Yeah.
And the kid got served a huge dish of humble pie because he's not big anymore. And he doesn't hit home runs. And so they did this feature on him because he hit a home run.
Yeah.
The funniest part of all this is if we would teach our kids better at the intermediate level in Little League and Pop Warner, in AAU, if we wouldn't be teaching them, hey, let's have incredible handles that knock kids over and stand there and stare at them, and then shoot your three. Right? Like that's what we're teaching kids. And I just think it is what it is. All right, let's get to you in the comment section. As always, brought to you by our good friends at Prize Picks, prizepicks.com, where pimps go to pimp. How'd you do in Prize Picks last night?
I won 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And
you're terrible.
I might add it's quite interesting who I had on Prize Picks last night. Let's see, pull it up here. Oh, I had some player.
Which is different than pulling it out.
Yeah, I had some player named Angel Reese for 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
That came through.
Who knew?
37.
She hit that, right? She had 41 actually on points, rebounds,
assists.
and assists.
Yeah, assists. Yep.
Paige Buchers.
Beckers.
No, it's Buchers.
It's Beckers.
Okay, Beckers.
Paige Beckers.
How do you get Beckers out of BUE?
Don't ask.
How?
Anyway, go ahead.
28 on 26.5. That's a win.
Who let you down?
Caitlin Clark. Scored too much. Took her for under 32.5.
See, my guy doesn't listen to me, right? I tell him, you don't bet against superstars in big moments.
Well,
ever, right?
There you go.
Which is why I went all baseball yesterday. My are and we the beloved. The greatest shitty organization you have ever seen.
Just a stalwartness.
The Chicago Cubs. And I knew yesterday in the home opener, since the Ricketts family owns the Cubs, let's bet on mediocrity, right? Because under the Ricketts family, my God, mediocrity reigns. That's why
sucks.
Yeah, that's why I took Christopher Morel to have 2 hits, runs, and RBIs. Came through with 3. Go Cubs. Cubs
nice.
win. Ronald Acuna Jr., 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I took more. He had 4. Then there's Mookie. And, if we're going to mook, we're going to Mookie.
Right.
Right? So if you mooks want a Mookie, I suggest you do. I had him at 3 hits, runs, and RBIs. He came through at 5.
Okay.
Pimp's going pimp, man.
Pimp's going to pimp, man.
And I was very thankful that the gambler knocked him in. The gambler drove him in last night to get that.
The gambler.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
The gambler.
Always bet on black.
First team all interpreter, please.
First team all macaque. Shohei
Cack.
Roulette. I don't Full House. I don't know what you call him.
The cock.
Yeah, there you go. The cock. Caulk. She's saying caulk.
Right.
The cock.
Yeah, caulk.
The cock.
Caulk. Mookie came through, won myself $70 last night.
Yeah.
I'll be spending that down at Copper Rock by myself in St. George this weekend
I
because
don't
certain
regret
people,
those decisions.
don't have their own caulk. So it's fine. One on Prize Picks. Use the promo code Monty, Monty, Monty. It's going to 100% deposit matching. You put in $20, they'll make it 40. All the way up to $100. You put in 100, they'll give you another 100. You've got 200. Trust me when I say I've been playing with. I was down quite a bit. I was down to, I can't remember what it was. I was down to my last pittance.
Yeah.
Came through with that $100 bet the other night.
Hundo.
Cash.
Benji.
We're back up to $400.
Yeah.
And that's how it works at Prize Picks. You can be at the lowest of, you can be Angel Reese last night.
And it sucks.
And I do sexualize Prize Picks. I
stand strong.
Right. With Devin Booker last night, I sexualized Prize Picks.
Let's ride.
I did not have Devin Booker. Should probably move on. Prizepicks.com. Use the promo code Monty to get 100% deposit matching.
All right. Let's see just how bad the comment section is today.
First went in today for $20. Team JPC times 3.
Okay. This ought to be good.
The business models of different sports is wild. Women's college basketball relies on Angel Reese's antics for views. Well, that's interesting. Because I will say that Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark, we're waiting for the TV numbers.
It was definitely a thing.
Will it be 2 million though?
Hopefully.
We'll see. NBA is going to get views for incredible skills, not antics. Imagine NBA players pulling what Reese does nightly and not getting texts. No, that would not work. If you had, and I don't even know who Dylan Brooks doing what Angel Reese did to Caitlin Clark. If you had Dylan Brooks doing that to Steph Curry, tech all day. I mean, you're exactly right about that. That would not fly in the NBA.
No.
But what you learn by this is that doesn't work. The sports gods come back to kick you in the balls, dude.
Every time.
And that's what Angel Reese got last. Well, I mean,
The motherfucking down hell. Fuck it.
You just don't have him nuts. But
It is what it is.
My point is, you know what I'm saying. Like the karma comes back around, and you can't believe that you're going to do that, and it's not going to come back to you. You can't, and you got to learn how to handle it when it does. Matt Ritson, good morning, my friend. Rare, both UConn and NC State men's and women's basketball Final Four. Very rare.
Yeah. Very,
very rare. NC State's got a legitimate opportunity. I mean, it's going to be really difficult to beat UConn. If Paige, don't call me Beckers, is going to go the way that she's going, that follow-away right-hander on the baseline last night, like, what are you supposed to do with that?
Nothing.
Like, quite literally, all you can do is be like, hey, nice shot, man. Caitlin Clark making 9 threes last night. All you can do is be like,
nice shot. That's
great
all you
shot.
can do.
You know, like
credit where credit's due.
UConn's highlights are on the tube right now in the studio here, and just Paige Beckers is unbelievable. I'm telling you, her and Caitlin Clark are on another hemisphere. It's wild to me. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't think UConn's losing.
Yeah.
UConn is you're going to need another 40.9 3-point performance. And I mean, let's be honest, is Iowa getting by South Carolina, who's undefeated? Probably not. But is my God, UConn's good.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be a great Final Four. No doubt about that. James, the unofficial mayor of Cowboy Country. Now, without reading the comment, are food and stadiums involved?
Yeah, it has to be something about LSU's facilities. That's my guess, based on the Angel Reese conversation.
Angel Reese has to learn that losses help build character. Show you your weakness. And if you learn from them, you can grow as a person. Wow. No food and no stadium.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
How is there no food?
Yeah, come on, dude. How are you not staying on brand here, bro?
Listen, Angel Reese needs to understand if she is going to lose, eat that humble cougar tail or corn dog like it's the last one you're ever going to have.
And it sucks.
Because here in Albany, New York, have you guys seen the renovated stadiums that they have in Albany? I mean, did you see the 3-point line that they had to relay down? Now, the funny part is they redid the visitor side of that arena, and so the light shines differently. So I understand why perhaps there was an equinox inside the stadium where glare and light and rainbows and unicorns. Shut up, Johnny. Rainbows and unicorns showed up, which made it difficult to retape the lines after they put in brand new concession stands. And let me tell you, I went there and toured the stadium after it was rebuilt. And did you guys know that they put in water fillers for your can? I was just trying to tell, like, it's a canteen filler.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Now, while we have Oak State James on the show, James, new rumors that the OG is going to enter the transfer portal. I know.
It's a tough day, man. It's painful. Ever since they didn't win the Big 12 championship,
which you said they were going to, and he was going to win the Heisman Trophy.
I've received death threats, and I need to stand on business for all the young boys who don't look up to me.
Is it hard to get out of bed, Ollie?
It really is.
Do you just have to find a way to get out of bed every day?
I just have to find a way because it really sucks, and I don't want Monty to see me this way. I got to be there.
But Ollie, aren't you just doing this so Oak State James has a way to go on and be inspired to do new stadium and corn dog videos? There were rumors that Ollie Gordon is. There are more than one. Like, I got about 5 from one particular dude who was like, "Hey, man,
Monty.
Hey, Monty, on the program, maybe you could bring up my tweet," which I'm not going to, not show it, but just because James is here,
right?
Ollie Gordon is also tweeting yesterday soliciting donations for the Oak State Collective. He tweeted the other day, I'm happy where I'm at. I don't think he's getting in the portal, at least not now. But my God, can you imagine the nail gun through the ball sack of James Oak State renovation video guy if Ollie Gordon is in the portal and he takes that Doak Walker with him? My God.
Dude.
My God.
Dude.
That's right.
Good morning, James. Aaron Wilson gifted a Monty Show membership.
Hey, Monty.
Let's go, Aaron Wilson. Good to see you 2 days in a row. Who else is in the comments section? Dakota Tubbs. Angel Reese admitted that she's essentially an unapologetic. I hate that word when it comes to in all seriousness. Anyway, great role model for all the little girls out there. I don't care if you want to be unapologetically myself. Okay.
Okay, fuck you.
I'm good with that. You want to be unapologetically Angel Reese? Great. Don't chase your opponent around the floor. Point at your finger and wave in your face. That's not going to fly.
Yeah, that's not being unapologetically you. That's being an asshole about it.
Yeah, and you embarrassed yourself.
Yeah.
And we said it last year, and we took a ton of heat over it last year when we talked about this. You embarrassed yourself. And now you're paying the price for that.
Yeah.
The invoice is past due now.
Yeah.
So it's time to pay the price for that. You know what I mean? Like, San Diego State Glenn says enough already. Okay. James says Ollie isn't going anywhere. He has a good NIL deal. But what you were telling us that many teams offered him a ton of money to get in the portal. Somebody's always got more money. Always. San Diego State Glenn also says bet the under on the A's all season long. 0 runs at home versus best in front of 3,000 people. I don't believe there were 3,000 people there.
3,000 people, bro.
There might have been 407.
Dude.
Is my guess. Lil Jizzy. D-backs going all the way this year. Okay. I mean, the Dodgers are pretty good.
Yeah.
The Padres.
Some guy with an interpreter, I guess, is playing for them this year. Apparently.
Bet.
Yeah.
Anyway, how much baseball are you guys watching?
Not enough.
I am watching a ton of baseball. The Yankees. I'm a casual observer of the Boonies.
Right.
They're 5-0. They're 5-0 and they're 2-1 in runs scored and against, which is the idea that they have the second best rotation in the East right now behind Boston. And they have the second best offense behind Baltimore. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to play games until they rebuilt that bridge that Biden knocked down in Baltimore.
Good casual.
Could be wrong. I am also telling you that the Cubs are not good. They're 2-2 and they can't get anybody out. And they don't score runs. Other than that, they're great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you'd want to score runs in Major League Baseball. I mean, that's not,
I would also point out that the Padres have no pitching. That's the Dodgers division to win or lose.
Yes,
and that
is.
Muncy home run the other day, jizz ball, if that didn't show you that they're going to be very difficult to beat, I don't know what would. UW fan Jim, sportsmanship, loyalty, camaraderie. That stuff was before your party taught us greed is good.
Hold on. Did you just say before your party? Is that a reference to Republicans, bro? Is that what that is, dude? Bro.
Now it's just about money.
Listen, as the president of the Roma Dunze fan club, I would expect better out of you, okay? I would expect better out of you, Jim, okay? Thank you.
All pro sports are rigged.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Does everyone like my new screen name? I don't know what your old screen name.
Old one, bro?
Welcome to the nightmare. You were down to $7, Monty. Don't call it a comeback.
Yeah.
I was
Monty was sweating.
Dude, I was having to make sharp turns to get gas to the fuel pump in the old Prize Picks account.
Dude.
Your name is rigged, Mike Smith says. I believe your name is rigged.
Yeah.
Aaron Wilson, yo. Dev MCC, what's up? Morning, Monty. Morning, Dev.
How does nobody have Ipe's burner as their name, dude? How does nobody have that account? Bro?
What are we going to call? What are we going to call? What are we going to call Shohei Ohtani? The Gambler is all I can think of.
Yeah, I mean,
it's got to be the Gambler.
Someone's got to come up with a name.
All pro sports are rigged, and you're a blind sheep. I probably am. Could be, man.
Man, really?
Okay.
Wow, original stuff there, dude.
Okay, Mike Smith. If I was blind, I would not see that your name is rigged. So take that, sheep-hating bully. Wow. Mountain Mama coming. That's later tonight. Bailey Dietrich, Roll Tide and Boiler up in the men's Final Four.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby.
The best. The best. I only want Alabama to win, so dipshit over here will keep playing that drop.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby.
Roll Tide Willie. That is my favorite drop.
It's awesome.
Because
dude.
you refuse to play the old Sopranos drops.
I don't have them.
He said what he allegedly said.
I don't have them.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Dude, I don't have them.
Oh, that's such a he said what he allegedly said. I love it. I do. Robert Fowler. Oh boy, here comes the Iowa smack. Iowa plays UConn next, not South Carolina. I thought it was South Carolina. Was I wrong about that? I apologize if I got that wrong. I thought they were going to play South Carolina.
Well, let's done double check.
Oh, let me pull out my women's bracket.
Yeah, pull out your women's bracket.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Let's see. It will be hello. Yes, you are correct. It will be Iowa, UConn. Coming up. What is that? 3, 4 on Friday at 7. And South Carolina, NC State. Ooh, please, NC State and South Carolina.
Yeah.
Please, little baby Wolfpack, if you could show up. Ow! Wolfpack, get that howl on. Let's do it. Do it. Do it. Okay, last second of his name. Okay. South Carolina plays NC State, by the way. Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Man, wow.
I hadn't heard that.
Really appreciate that input, dude. Thank you.
Aaron Wilson says, I'm on new meds, Mike. Well, hopefully they help you get up earlier. I like it. James, unofficial mayor of Okie State. I tried to talk about what the guys are talking about. Okay. You know.
James,
when did that start? Let's see. Angel Reese. No, I read that one already. My bad. Taj Brooks greater than Ollie Gordon. Truth. Just
for a friend.
LJ Martin better than Ollie Gordon. Is that ever true? Probably not. Probably not. But could be wrong. Chad Carter, good morning. Love all the great men's and women's b-ball games we're getting. Isn't that the truth, though?
Yeah, we're getting some good ones.
I don't generally watch women's college basketball, but I did watch Caitlin Clark beat the hell out of Angel Reese last night. Or, I mean, Iowa. It wasn't Iowa versus LSU. That's not what happened last night. That would be telling a lie. Taj Brooks, best running back in the country. Okay. Take more new meds. Dakota Tubbs, Ollie's favorite corn dogs are in stool water. He ain't leaving. I hope he doesn't leave. Because really, if he leaves, Jake is going to have to swaddle Okie Light James for and I want to say weeks, but my guess is months is probably more accurate.
Probably.
If
can you measure it?
If Oak State James loses Ollie Gordon, my God, there is not enough laxatives in this world for him to move on with his life. Do you know how many Buc-ee's barbecue sandwiches it's going to take to get James over Ollie Gordon wearing an Alabama uniform?
I mean, I don't know that he's ever going to be able to get back on Monty Copter 69.
I think Monty Copter 69 will be grounded. I do. OG Gary, imagine Ollie does enter the portal. He would set Oak State on fire. I believe he would. Daniel Dixon, go Cubs, go. Daniel, hope you are well, my friend. Daka to Tubbs. Gary, how's your blood pressure this morning? Oh, Angel Reese. Gary took some in the comment section last night, like Angel Reese took some in that game last night. He was sitting there like, oh, you know, Angel Reese, best player in the country. Best player I've ever seen.
Oh, you're just hating on Angel Reese.
Why are you hating on Angel Reese? Because she got her ass kicked by Caitlin Clark. No, LSU got their ass kicked. I don't. Yeah. Well, Caitlin Clark had 40 points, multiple time making history, 9 3-pointer. Angel Reese had a twisted ankle. It hurt her gravely. She won't use it as an excuse. Camera. Anyway.
I just try to stand strong. And it sucks because I don't want them to see me down. I'm still a human.
Bailey Dietrich. I'm still human. You're not. Wait, I thought Angel Reese was AI.
I'm still a human.
Nah, that's a lie. My Cleveland Guardians are in rebuild mode now, Bailey Dietrich says. Every single year, he says. Aaron Wilson, Taj Brooks greater than Ollie Gordon. Now you have a quarterback. Don't get me started on. Aaron, it's way too soon. It's only, dude, it's April 2nd. We cannot be talking about Texas Tech football. I'm not ready for my heart to hurt.
They need more time.
I'm fine, Dakota, but your vitriol will make. I forgot about Gumby. Okay. Gary is clearly been drinking this morning, which is fine. Rip Gumby. Gumby's been here a few times. I do miss some of the afternoon crowd. James, unofficial mayor of Cowboy Country. Taj Brooks is really good. Ollie Gordon has 3 solid wide receivers with him. We'll see who is better. Tech versus Oak State, 11-23. First to 50 wins. Will Ollie Gordon be there? I think it's a big question. Does he transfer after spring ball? I'm happy where I'm at.
I'm sure you aren't.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Isn't that Nick Saban saying he has no interest in the Alabama job?
Yes.
Ron Nolan. Angel has a $3 million bag. You, the one with the bigger sack, wins, right? Well, my sack is bigger than her sack.
Right.
I can almost.
That's the untrained eye.
I feel pretty. I should have Shohei place a bet for me because I feel pretty confident in that.
Macaque.
Jeremiah Champion, hit the like button. Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Jeremiah. Good to see you. Dakota Tubbs, everything a gambler needs is a suitcase and a truck. That's what I'm saying. Shohei the money.
So see what he did there. It's like show hey,
show
and then
hey.
show you and show him and show me the money.
Shohei, Mr. Overs Club. Okay. Otani's 11. See what Josh did there?
He did there?
Ocean's 11. Otani's of I Shohei, Mr. Locks. Okay. Gaianbura, Japanese for gambler. Gaianbura. Okay. Tanner Plummer, UConn and Purdue are sort of saving my bracket, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is fine. RJC man loaner Apple phone. Monty seems to have gone balls deep last night. Much better mood. Well, I got my Apple loaner phone.
Well, no, he's in a much better mood because after yesterday's show, we all knew that you wound up looking like a jackass over Apple phones.
Do you know how many people were like, oh, you got him. Good job.
You got him, Monty. Nice screenshot, bro.
Listen, just because you were hell-bent on believing that, Apple provides loaner phones and then Apple.
And it sucks.
We do not offer loaner phones during repairs.
I just try to stand strong.
Listen, I understand we sexualized you.
I'm still a human.
I get it. Do you guys think I'm going straight to hell or do I get a shot at purgatory?
Yeah, no duh.
Okay. Major release helps calm the nerves.
Major release.
Wow. Aiden Robinson was a better man than Ollie was. Could be. Absolutely could be. Moth Prof, good morning to you. Aaron Wilson, I will be on more new meds soon. Okay. Hope you're good, dude. J2H pulls James to his chest, pats him on the back, and starts singing, everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right.
Look here, man.
If Ollie Gordon transfers, James, are you still gonna wear his jersey? That bedazzled thong you have with his face in the right spot, are you still gonna wear that when he's playing running back at Texas? Or are you? Oh God, if Ollie Gordon transferred to Texas,
the SEC,
Texas is back. Screw you, Ollie. Anyway, Big Blue Horses, to loosely quote Sweetness, act like you've been there before. Seriously. Ease up on James and definitely pump the brakes on Bucky's shaming. The line has been drawn.
We're not shaming James. We're having fun with James.
No, listen, is there anybody here who denies that if you eat if Ollie Gordon transfers, you can't tell me James isn't driving directly to Bucky and downing 12 brisket sandwiches.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Do you know why do you think they sell laxatives at Bucky's?
Dude.
Do they have this coincidence?
You're not even wrong.
Stephen Keel says the Pittsburgh Pirates win it all. Okay.
Yeah, wow.
Okay. GFC Cougs, Mariners going to the World Series for the first time ever. Listen.
Dude, y'all are on some different stuff today, man.
I mean,
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yeah. That awkward guy, Ollie Gordon to Texas. I can see it. I can see it happening. If they don't like Bucky's, that just means more for me. Nobody said we don't like Bucky's. I mean, who are you, Maverick?
Fact.
Maverick is better than Bucky's. Tanner, after Ollie transfers away from Okie State, will J2H console James by telling him that he loves him again? Oh, James, I want to pet your mustache.
I want to pet your mustache?
Oh, James, eat that Bucky sandwich, boy.
Wow, bro.
And that better be a 32-ounce Diet Dr. Pepper.
How about that?
Preserve that girlish figure, James.
Damn.
Oh my God, just like that.
Okay. Boyd, still no QB1 at BYU. Is that going to be Retzloff? They're not going to. So when you have 48 quarterbacks on your roster, which I believe they have 48 on their roster, quarterbacks, I do believe that they have no reason to name a starter now. I think if you look at the storylines coming out of BYU's spring ball camp, and Jake will be here Thursday to wrap up spring ball, I think the storylines that you're seeing are that Bohannon is still battling some of that shoulder issue through camp. Was certainly better the last probably 3 practices.
Well, and I love the assertion out of the BYU media down there in Provo that Bohannon, hasn't had the same amount of time that Jake has had, and that he's going to work with John Beck this summer, and that he's going to get all this additional improvement, and then they'll make a decision. To which I say, that just seems silly to me. He may work with John Beck, and he may improve, and that's great. At some point, he'll play this year, but there's no reason he should start over Jake.
There's a couple of things you got to remember here. Number one, you need multiple quarterbacks. You probably need 3 1A, 1B, 1C guys. I don't know. I still, in my heart, somewhere deep in my imagination, I believe that Cade Fennigan has talent. I am clearly not a coach at BYU because I don't know that they believe in him. Right? I think the other thing you got to remember is that Jake Retzloff has 2 years of eligibility here. He's been in the system longer. He has clear command and control of that offense. And I think the other thing that nobody's talking about, and I'll ask Jake this tomorrow, I don't believe he threw an interception in spring ball. Jake Retzloff did not throw a single interception during spring camp, which, if you watched him last year, you watch him against Oklahoma. I mean, you watched him in what was 0-4. He never had this kind of command and control of the offense. He never had respect in the huddle because you really didn't know. But I also think a larger part of BYU's issue last year was you had wide receivers who didn't understand the playbook, who didn't understand the schematics. And I think you were doing a lot of hoping last year. Well, I'm going to put this guy in the slot and I'm going to hope. Hey, I'm going to put this guy over here and then I'm going to pray. Right? Thoughts and prayers. That's not how you win football games. And I think there was a lot of that in this playbook last year because the BYU offense is complex and it is not an easy offense to command. And I think you had, and I'm not making excuses. Jake's our guy. I get it. I'm not making excuses. This kid a year ago was not able to play, was not physically able to play. He was coming off of, if I remember right, the appendicitis last year. So he had just had surgery. He was not well until the summer. So there was no chemistry. There was no playbook. I mean, hell, he hadn't even met Ryan from Big O Tires at this point a year ago. So his life was not complete. Is that correct, Ryan, from Big O Tigers?
Actually, I had met him, but no, I get your point. He had tonsillitis, not appendicitis, too. It was tonsillitis.
Tonsillitis. He had it. See,
not to correct you. Sorry.
No, please do correct me. We want to be anatomically correct on the program. But what? What do you make of not naming a starter for BYU football?
As a business perspective, I think it's smart. Let's say they announce Jake the starter right now. Portal opens up next week. Gary could leave, right? And
yes.
if Jake gets hurt week 4, week 5, we've got Gary still. So, and I think competition is always good. I'm sure you guys have seen with Jake, like he is a competitor. He is a dog. Yeah. And so competition drives us prideful, competitive men to be better. It pushes us. So I think it's good. I think they're going to wait until that portal closes after the fall, and they'll announce probably like 2 weeks into camp, I think, or a week into fall camp. I think they'll announce Jake as the starter. But yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about Jake and his improvement, and like you said, understanding the playbook.
Yeah.
And something people don't realize, he just turned 21 years old, and he talks like he's 24. He's very mature for his age, and you do have that a lot at BYU because you have a lot of younger guys that go on missions and open their eyes to the real world, and they're humbled and they're a little more mature. But Jake is even more mature for his age in this situation he's in, for sure.
Well, and he's had to battle to get to where he's at. I mean, you go the JUCO route, and he has had, and we've talked about this on the show when Jake joins us every Thursday morning, presented by Big O Tires and American Fork, right here on the Monty program. We've talked about this, that he has had instant success when he's gotten the ball. And I think that obviously that happened in high school. It happened in junior college. And I think it happens this year. He just is amazingly different. He is not the same guy. And I do think the turnover thing is a big deal, because what have we heard all spring ball is we've got to handle the details. We've got to get a grasp on the little things, and those little things that cost us wins last year, the pick 6 against Oklahoma, like who doesn't remember that play? Like, I think those things, and nobody knows better than you about BYU football last year. Like, we saw a lot of the little things get not, and I'm not going to say ignored, but there wasn't that attention to detail last year, Ryan.
Right. And not being able to run the ball. And A-Rod talked about that last week. Like, the fact that we weren't able to run the ball, it affected so many aspects of his play calling and the game, which is so crazy. I don't know if you guys watched the pro day. Like, Aiden just murdered it. And seeing how well he did, I'm like, man, I wish we would have had him for a full season healthy.
Yeah. But what if LJ Martin can be the next Jamal Williams? What if LJ Martin, 20 pounds heavier, can be Tyler Algier? Like, I do think that in this conference right now, and we've been talking about Ollie Gordon and Taj Brooks, and you look at the running game in this conference, you control the clock by running the football, and you make your offense better when you can do that. And I think it's now or never for LJ. He's going to be in a position. I think he's number 1 on the depth chart in what's a loaded running back room. You have experienced returning wide receivers. You have what is arguably the best offensive line I think we've seen, coming out of a really mediocre offensive line play last year. I think this year BYU's offensive line is way better, way more capable. I think you have really dynamic weapons at tight end. Like, the excuses are gone now. If you're Jake Retzloff, you're going to win this job, in my opinion. And Ryan, I think this is the year. I think it's a really important year for him.
And for the program.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because I think I'm not the fire the coach guy, but I think Kalani's seat is kind of warm right now. If they don't make a bowl game, I don't know where we are a year from now. At the very minimum. Why are you smirking?
I don't think he'd be fired by. Well, I mean, if we win 2 or 3 games, maybe, but I don't think he'd be let go by any means. I think depending on why we're losing, like I think if we have another offensive year that we had last year, I could see A-Rod be on the hotter seat. But I don't think they would let Kalani go after one more bad year. I just don't see it. I mean, I'm not saying you're not right that it shouldn't or shouldn't happen. I just don't see it happening.
So if they win 5, and I think last year the particularly frustrating thing was BYU was in a position to go to a bowl game in October.
And it's just 5 in a row.
Yeah, it's just brutal, right? That's right. That's right. I don't know. It's interesting. Anyway, so I had a week with tires this week.
Oh, geez.
Went out to the garage the other morning, and my PSI was at 12 in my front left tire. Could not drive it any kind of reasonable distance. Went out to my car and yesterday to get the tire fixed. It was at 8. So I made the mistake of going to a competitor and just got absolutely run around on my $400 Cross Climate 2s. It was a fiasco.
Now, in fairness to you, you did buy these tires almost a year and a half ago.
I did. They have 9,000 miles on them.
Is this for the wife's car?
No, it's for my car. My beloved. I don't get out of I never leave the house.
Yeah.
Wait, the BMW or the Jeep?
The Jeep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the biggest issue is, you know what I found? They don't care about me. They don't care about my time. And the thing that I've always found in your store, and this is why I bring this up, the thing I've always found in your store is when you tinted my windows, when you did my alignment, when you did my oil change, it's going to be ready at this time. And when I pulled up to your shop, the car was sitting out front. The windows were tinted. It was done when you said it was going to be done. And it was done for the price you said it would be done for. And I think that matters, Ryan. Like, how important is it to you that your customer has a good experience?
It's very important. I think it's so important nowadays that we are transparently honest with the customers because there are so many options, so many places they could be going, but they're choosing me. And so I want them to continue to do that. And to be honest, there are times when we say, hey, it'll be done this time, here's the price. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to make that call like, hey, while we were in there, we did find this. Here's some pictures. We didn't foresee this. It is going to be a little longer, and it's going to need X, Y, and Z. And that does happen sometimes. That's just the industry we're in sometimes. But we're very transparent. We use videos and pictures to show them, hey, this was an unforeseen event, obviously. We're sorry. This is what's going to be. But when you are honest and you are using the pictures and videos, it takes away that doubt. Or that, does it really need that? And when we have some lifelong customers, I have some customers that I literally have known longer, a lot of customers actually, than I've known my kids or my wife. And so, and with those customers, they just throw the keys in the counter, here, get it done, whatever you need, just call me when it's ready and I'll pay for it. Like they just
when I come to you though, dude, I don't worry about it. That's the thing that really bothered me about this experience. And we were talking about this. When we were trying to get my car, like limping my car over to this tire shop, right? And they don't care about my time. And that's really the thing. Like, who's got, like, can you imagine wasting 2 hours of your day, just giving away 2 hours of your day in the middle of your day? How important is 2 hours? Like, to me, it's the end of the world. And people think, well, I'm probably making this up. When you were tinting my windows, you were on time. You were communicating. You were telling me. And I loved that when I pulled up, my car was sitting right in front of your store. When I walked in, you were like, hey, let's go take a look at it. We walked around. Like, it's just a different level of service. And I think the hard part is that you're under the Big O Tires brand, but you're a small business owner. This is in your family, right? Like, you've been in the automotive industry forever.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's in your family. Like, this is not your first rodeo, I guess is my point. I'll stop railing. No. I'm really frustrated about that situation. And it's a lesson learned, man. And I don't care where you are in the great state of Utah, American Fork is not that far. And I learned that lesson the hard way, man. So there, you were right.
2 hours for a flat repair is a long time. Like, I understand if it's like a snowstorm and you come in and there's, everyone's putting new tires on, but 2 hours for a flat on a spring break week, that's pretty crazy.
So we were trying to put air in it to get it to the tire shop. And there was clearly, let me tell you the whole story because you'll laugh at it. There was clearly a nail in my tire. And I have Cross Climate 2s. They were $1,700. Like, they're not cheap tires.
Yeah.
And I paid for them knowing that. I limp into this tire shop and the guy's like, okay, we'll fix it. It'll be, an hour. Okay, great. I sit down. They take all the wheels off my car. What's the first lesson on Cross Climate 2s? You can't rotate them in a circle, right? They're a specialized tire. Take them all off my cars. He's like, I said to the guy, hey, I'm just having a repair done. And he's like, oh, okay. He goes out there. The guy comes back into this tire shop and he's like, I can't find it. I don't know. What wheel was it? They got confused and mixed up the wheels. And the guy's like, we don't find anything in the tire. So it looks like you're all set and ready to go.
All right. Have a nice day.
And right there, I knew I was in trouble. I pointed it out to him. We figured it out. And it's like sitting there as plain as day. And he's like, yeah, we're not going to be able to fix that. We're not going to be able to fix that. And I'm like, I want to pay almost the total price of the tire. And I had to fight over it. Like, it was a disaster, dude. A disaster. And if I could have driven to you, I would have. It meant that it just.
Hey, do you know how to put the spare tire on?
Do I look like a guy who puts my own spare tire on, Ryan? Did you really need to bring that up? No, I do not. I do. Why do I have you in my life?
I had to go.
I have you in my life so I don't have to put my spare tire on. Anyway, as you were, I don't mean to talk your ear off. I know that we're like 15 minutes into this conversation now. My lesson was learned, and I appreciate your level of service, my friend.
I'm glad I could help.
Awesome. Big O Tires, Ryan and American Fork. Go see him. Tell him you heard about it on the Monty Show. I seriously am going to come and see you because I do need to get some. I can't do P0s. I'm out. I cannot do P. That is not my tire. So we need to talk about tires for the Beamer. Okay. Anyway, as you were, good to see you. I appreciate you supporting the show, and thank you for having Jake Retzloff with us all the time.
No problem, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy your week.
You too. Talk to you later. Ryan at Big O Tires. You guys, I'm telling you, Big O in American Fork, it's not that far. I talked about this on the show yesterday. I learned my lesson. It is, and again, just as a follow-up to that.
Yeah.
So, they ordered the tire, right? They told me, hey, I'm not going to have it. Well, okay, great. I go back there yesterday. I dropped the car off. The guy's like, it'll be, what did he say, an hour or so?
Yeah.
10 minutes. I leave. I go all the way back to my house. I leave. 10 minutes later, car's done. I don't get a phone call. I don't get a picture like Ryan talked about. I get a text message. Your car's done. 10 minutes later. Why did I? So I went all the way to go all the way to go all the way. Nightmare.
Yeah.
Big O Tires and American Fork. Hook it up. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do Pirelli P0s. We drove up to Evanston, Wyoming over the weekend, Mrs. Monty and I. And I was driving on the freeway and how you do, like when you have really nice tires, you guys don't care about this. Cross Climate 2s, Michelin's, best tire you'll ever own. You don't feel the tire roll. And if you have a performance car and you have tires, so you kind of can feel that it almost feels like the tire is really soft.
It's flexing on you.
I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
And that's what you get from a Pirelli P0. And that's why I'm not a Pirelli fan.
Yeah. And I think my opinion is the Beamer should have 2 sets of tires, dude. I'm steadfast on this. Have a set for the summer, have a set for the winter, right? That's how it should be. Now, commute every day. So I guess, that's different, right? And
if you put Cross Climate 2s on it, you don't have to change your tire from winter to summer.
Yeah, well.
And they are stupid expensive. Right? Didn't Ryan try to talk me out of that tire? Because of how expensive it was.
Yeah, I mean, they're expensive. Yeah, I mean, it's the best all-season tire you can get. It is.
And it is amazing. It is. I'm putting it on the beam. You can almost write that down. You can write that down. All right, let's reset. Tanner Plummer, let's see. Tanner says, I guess it would be a logical choice. Jay Hill is the next coach if Kalani's canned by boy. Listen, I never mind talking football. I don't believe that Kalani Sitake is going to get fired. I think they're going to win 7 games this year. I know we've talked about this.
Mhm.
I think Jake Retzloff at every level, high school, junior college, there's no reason to think he's not going to take this step after having tonsils out.
Yeah.
He missed all of spring and a good part of summer last year.
Right.
That's not the case this year. He's 100% healthy. He did not throw an interception in spring practice. Do you know how difficult that is to do? He did not throw an interception in spring practice. Bohannon's had this shoulder thing. I was talking to a BYU friend of mine. He was talking about how I guess he battled shoulder soreness, and we knew that. I think, oh my God, Mitch Harper at KSL Sports had written a thing about Bohannon was having some shoulder issue. And he apparently is. They're talking about, going down for a period of time to work with John Beck. The issue is Jake Retzloff is already doing that. Jake is already in the BYU program for a year. Jake is already in the BYU pipeline. He's already working with. There's no reason to give Bohannon the job.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't think it's. It would be difficult to mess this up. Give Jake the starting job. Let Bohannon go down and work with Beck and do what he needs to do. He'll be your number 2, and you can bank on the fact you're going to need him this year. It's going to happen. I am certain of that. And that's what my perspective and plan would be if I was BYU.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what that's exactly right.
And I don't think that BYU fires Kalani for anything other than just a downright embarrassing season. If you came out with 2 wins.
But I think, in light of Texas Tech's a great example of this.
Yeah.
The expectation has to be higher in Lubbock. You have, in all seriousness with Taj Brooks, you have arguably the best running back. And now you have a running back, and if Baron Morton is everything that we think he is.
Right.
If you have Taj and Baron coming back together, they're healthy, you have the expectation has to go up.
Yeah.
It has to go. This has to be a team that contends at the top of the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The expectation in BYU, this team has to win 7 games and go. At a minimum, you got to go to a bowl game. There has to be marked improvement, because a year from now, you can't be like, okay, well, we've put in a new coach. Let's get to a bowl game. Because then what does that mean? You just wasted 3 years just trying to get to a bowl game.
Yeah.
And you're raising ticket prices, and you're changing the way tickets are allocated. And
yeah, you are.
The expectation has to be higher.
Yeah, you're doing a lot. Now it's time to win.
Joey McGuire, does he win 8 games this year?
8 seems lofty, but I would expect 7. Yeah.
8 seems lofty.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, I don't know, it's year 2, right? So I think they're
seems lofty.
Listen, you can't just fix garbage play calling in the moment. Right. You can fix, hey, we need a better scheme here, or maybe we need to work, this portion of our offense more, whatever the case may be, or this part of the defensive scheme. But you can't fix your DC calling a 0 blitz on the goal line. That's
in Laramie.
I that's just not something that's just fixable overnight. And that's why I say yeah, are they capable? Do they have the talent to win 8? Sure. But are they? I can't confidently say that with what you showed me last year. Come on.
I think they'll start 7-0. I do. And Abilene Christian at Washington State, North Texas, Arizona State, Cincinnati, all at home to end September. At Arizona, Baylor, at TCU. I think they're 7-0. And then we get real when we go to Ames to take on Iowa State.
Washington State's got bad loss written all over it, dude.
I don't
You're
think
on
so.
The road.
I don't. But Washington State has suffered so many losses here.
Yeah.
I think Colorado in Lubbock is going to be a very difficult game. At Oak State, I mean, Ollie Gordon's transferring. So, and then West Virginia and Lubbock. This is a 10-win team. This is a 10-win team. They're going to lose to Oak State, and I think they're going to lose to Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to win 10 games. And if this team doesn't win 8 games, I think it is tragically bad. It is tragically bad.
Yeah. Again, though, they need to prove they can do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. No picks thrown in practice. Practice. We're talking about practice. How silly is that? It's not silly. Spring ball is about learning and growing. So you are making throws that, you're not making game throws every time you let the football go. Well, apparently Jake Retzloff is. And I think it matters. He is somebody that last year had some really bad decisions.
And would you be ripping him if he had thrown 5 interceptions in
You
spring
would.
ball?
You would.
You would.
But he didn't turn the football over, and that is huge. That is huge. Now, he was never green. Like, he was a guy that, or was never live. Like, totally get it. He didn't throw an interception in spring ball.
Yeah.
Now build on that through the summer and don't throw an interception in fall camp, because that's what it's going to take. You're going to be BYU. You have zero margin for error. Zero margin for error. Bohannon has the physical and experience tools to take that job. I don't believe he does. I think it's all well and good that you look at Jerry Bohannon's experience, right? And we can sit here and we can go back and forth about, where he's been and what he's done. Is there a reason that guys like him bounce around? And I'm not trying to be critical of I'm just being honest. You were at Baylor for 4 years. Then you went to USF, and now you're in Provo. That doesn't concern anybody? And he's never been a prolific passer of the football.
Right.
His best year was his last year at Baylor. 2,200 yards, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
So you're only really, what is that? 50% or 46%?
I'm telling you, he is a good number 2. He is not a number 1 quarterback.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that he does that Jake does not do better. And not because Jake's on the show. But what is it that Bohannon does that Jake doesn't do? Well, he's got experience, Monty. Okay.
But what is it doing for
at
him?
the D1 major college football level? Yes, you're exactly right. The performance that I've seen out of Jake Retzloff's tape, whether that's high school, junior college, you don't do that accidentally. Jake Retzloff is a guy who can throw the ball all over the field. He can make every throw. He runs exceptionally well. And at his best, he doesn't turn the football over. And that's what we've got to get to with Jake Retzloff as a starter. And it's not going to be good enough to sit here and wonder and surmise. If you look at his record as a quarterback, I mean, the guy has a 4,500-yard season with 44 touchdowns and 14 interceptions at Riverside.
It's a lot of yards, dude.
23 touchdowns and 5 interceptions at Golden West. We're not playing this game where we're talking about a guy who just can't get the job done.
Yeah, and with all due respect, I don't think you saw anything near Jake's top end last season.
I think my guess is, and here's what I think is going to happen. He's going to come out and be a 4,000-yard passer, a 30-touchdown guy, less than 10 interceptions. And I think we're all going to forget about what happened last year. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. I think we're all going to forget about what happened last year.
Yeah. This
cat has never failed. And he knows the playbook inside and out. He has relationships and chemistry with the talent. Why are you if the thing I've never understood is BYU fan rooting for Jerry Bohannon. It's not personal. Jerry's a great guy. But that performance level is not what you should be aspiring to for a BYU quarterback.
Yeah. There's expectations.
Yes.
No doubt.
Aaron Wilson, Texas Tech has to perform like we expected them to last fucking jag-off year. But the coaches were a major problem last year. The play calling was a major problem on both sides of the football last year. There's no question about that. These are nice narratives about Retzloff, but remember, there were a lot of positive things being pushed out about Keaton last year. Not on this show.
Yeah, I don't know what show you were
Keaton
watching.
Slovis not exactly what we told you he would be? With all due respect.
Go back and watch.
Was Keaton Slovis not exactly what we told you he would be? He is not a prolific passer of the football. He just is not. And in an offense where you had a very average offensive line. You had let's be really honest about how was ATN last year? Not great. How was the offensive line rotating talent last year? Not great. You're playing 2 quarterbacks. You're playing 7 running backs. The best story out of last year was probably the wide receivers. And I'm telling you now, if Keaton Slovis was this world beater, how did he lose his job? Oh, he was injured. No. Come on.
Yeah.
Keaton Slovis, I don't know where you were getting the narratives that Keaton Slovis is a world beater. He was
Monty, USC and Pitt. Come on.
Was Jake Retzloff dink and dunk all camp? Far from it. We've all had great practice QBs before. Jake Heaps comes to mind. But again, this is where shell-shocked BYU fan comes in.
Yeah.
I will just continue to say this about everybody. Zach Wilson was spectacular at BYU. Who after Zach Wilson has been spectacular?
I think BYU fan would say Jaron was spectacular,
He was
but
not.
he wasn't. Yeah.
Jaron Hall's best days were running the football.
Yeah.
Right? If you look at where Jake Retzloff slots in, he slots and projects better than Zach Wilson was. That's it. His upside is beyond Zach Wilson. So you're talking about a guy who's got top end. And I think the story and the road of a guy matters. And I think that Jake Retzloff is playing the best ball right now that we've seen him. From all accounts, he is in phenomenal shape. He is healthy, and he has grown mentally as a quarterback in this system simply by knowing the playbook and having complete command and understanding. You also have wide receivers who know their job now. You also have a running back room that's got experienced talent who knows what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I think it all comes together.
Got to have some faith.
I do. Yeah. 100%, Boyd. Practice is important, but it's not the best. Okay, so again, I go back to what Jake said. This is the problem with fandom. So if Jake Retzloff was terrible in practice, you'd be like, he sucks, it's over. But practice, it's not the indicator of what's going to happen in a game. Or is it? There is, and this is something that I think fans have to understand. It's not that it's practice, it's how you practice. It's not that you're making throws, it's what kind of throws. How are you making those throws? From where are you making those throws? So what have we heard about Jake Retzloff? Well, he's in command of the huddle. He has the respect of his teammates. He is in command of the playbook. And the guy is making throws that there's the other quarterbacks in camp can't make that same throw in that same way, the way that he is doing that. He's outperforming the competition. There is no question Jake Retzloff is the number one. And I understand the narrative and why they're going to wait till fall camp. But we can sit here and we can play these games about how it's just practice. You're having a quarterback competition. What more can the guy do other than excel in practice? Because I know who Bohannon is in a game.
Yeah.
I know him.
Story before.
I know who Keaton Slovis was in a game. And you all told me that I was too negative and you don't know what you're talking about. And Keaton Slovis is exactly who we thought he was going to be. A guy that's good, but he's never going to be elite. He's never going to be
right.
Jake Retzloff has the ability to be the best quarterback in the conference. He's got that kind of talent. So we should play Jerry Bohannon.
Well, he's got experience.
He's got experience as a guy who's good and never going to be great. And now he's got some kind of shoulder thing off of this surgery.
Get out of your own way, dude. Let the process play out.
If you want to compare, we're really comparing Jake Heaps to Jake Retzloff. We're going to go the Jake Heap routes. So I ask you, what did you ever see from Jake Heaps at BYU that said to you, man, this cat is, because he never did it on the field at BYU. He never did it on the field at BYU. He never did it on the field at Kansas, right? Did he ever do it on, well, he wasn't on the field for Miami, but for like 33 seconds.
Right.
What did I tell you about Jerry Bohannon? The guy has bounced around. What am I telling you about Jake Heaps? The guy has bounced around. How many quarterbacks bounce around and then wind up being a star? You know who they are. You know who they are. Jake Heaps, I think the top of his mountain was sub 3,000 yards, right? 2,300 yards in 2010. 57% completion percentage. Dreadful. For his career, he's 54%. Everybody, I think we have these fond memories of Jake Heaps that never were. Jake Heaps was never good.
It's Brandon Weeden all over again.
The
same thing.
And Jake Heaps' numbers would be a step up for Retzloff?
Bro, y'all are on crack, dude. I don't know. You guys need to go do your homework on Jake Retzloff.
Did you just say that Jake Heaps' numbers would be a step up from Retzloff? I see, this I can't do. This I cannot do. This I cannot do. Jake Heaps never was ever at any level with a helmet and a chin strap on. He never performed. Stop with this storytelling. He never performed. The guy's career completion percentage is 54%.
Brutal.
I can look at Jake Retzloff at every level, and he is dramatically improved, taken a big step up. If I have to compare Jake Retzloff to Jake Heaps, stop. Come on. This is, come on. Bohannon had a 62.9% completion. Why is he not still at Baylor? How did he get away from Baylor?
And the better question is, why is he not in the league then?
Why is he not at USF still? Just asking. Jerry Bohannon's a nice quarterback. He's a depth guy. If he's in the NFL, he's a practice squad quarterback. Are you telling me that you believe right now, and maybe you haven't, I would suggest you go and get on YouTube and watch Jake Retzloff at his best. But you're really going to tell me that you'd rather have a guy who we know, a known commodity, in all due respect to Jerry Bohannon, a very, very average quarterback. We know he's that. We know that Keaton Slovis is a better performer than Jerry Bohannon. And you'd rather have that guy have your job instead of Jake Retzloff, who every time he's been given the starting job, everywhere he's been, has excelled, has set records, has been the brightest of the stars. And now we're going to take the 4 games that Jake Retzloff played at BYU last year with no spring ball, with a bit of summer, and did not get first team reps. That job was Keaton Slovis's job right out of spring.
Mm-hmm.
And then comes in for the most difficult part of the BYU schedule last year. And what did we see out of Jake? For almost every snap, he was clearly improving. And I know that's not your narrative, and that's not what BYU fan wants to talk about. Jake Retzloff got incrementally better. And his last 100 snaps were a significant step up. Now what do we see? Okay, now he's the number 1 guy going into spring ball. He has a fantastic offseason where he trains his body. He's in excellent shape, excellent health, working with a quarterback guru in the offseason, so his mechanics are better. His mind is better. He excels through spring practice. And now we're pushing for a guy that we know is average, who's not as good and has not performed to the level as the guy that you complained about last year in Keaton Slovis. We're asking for that guy to start over Jake Retzloff. Have you lost your mind? I don't know how, when we make statements like it's only practice, it doesn't matter. you've lost your mind.
Yeah, that's not a factual take, dude. That's not any type of like, hey,
you've lost your mind.
Here's this or here's that. Like,
how did we get Cam Rising? How did we get him? How did Cam Rising become Cam Rising at Utah? Because you brought in a transfer that sucked. And all Cam Rising did was work and improve in spring ball. All Cam Rising did was get better in the summer. All Cam Rising did was probably win the job in fall camp. And you still gave it to the noodle arm quitter quarterback. And then once you gave the ball to Cam Rising, the rest is history. Now, I'm not saying that Cam Rising's the best quarterback in football because I don't think he is. I think Jake Retzloff will be better at the end of the day. When we're going back and reading history, Jake Retzloff will have been a better quarterback than Cam Rising. But you're already putting the fucking guy in the grave, and he hasn't really even gotten a chance to be a number one quarterback at BYU. And you're already saying Jerry Bohannon's the guy you want. I can't even wrap my head around that.
Yeah, it's foolishness.
Didn't have a starting running back last year in any of the games that he played. Like, he had a bad offensive line, if we're being truth-telling. Like, what are we doing? That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Bohannon has a better name, but doesn't have a T-shirt. Therefore, the competition never was one. Exactly right.
Right.
That's exactly right. You mean that guy that was invited to the combine? Everybody gets invited to the combine.
Why are you so hard over Jerry Bohannon?
No,
dude?
Why are you so hard over Keaton Slovis? Guy, do I really have to go back and pull Keaton Slovis? God, what are we doing? This I've never understood. I will say what I said again. And we had Keaton Slovis on the show in fall and at Media Day. Keaton Slovis last year completed 57.5% of his passes.
Well, that sounds familiar.
For 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. And you want a guy who's not that good to start for your football team this year. Help me. At least Keaton Slovis had like actual numbers you could put up at when he's thrown for 3,500 yards at USC. But what happened? He got injured, then he got beat out, then he transferred, and then he transferred again. You don't step into an offense in 4 months and then become a prolific starting quarterback in the fall.
Yeah.
I got news for you. How do we know that? In this competition, because Jake Retzloff didn't get into the playbook until fall camp. And has sat on this show and said I didn't have command of it when I was in. When I got my chance to start, I didn't have command of it. Because you can't have command of it.
Yeah.
You need command of it the year before, through spring, off season, through spring ball, into the summer, and then have it in fall camp. But you're arguing that Jerry Bohannon, who's not the quarterback that Keaton Slovis is, should be the guy, even though he's had 0 time in the playbook, and we've seen him at his best on the field. By what measure does Jerry Bohannon become some superstar that's better off than Jake Retzloff at BYU?
By BYU fans' measure.
Where's the football logic in that? And honestly, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And again, what's the argument for Jerry Bohannon? More experience.
What does that mean anymore, dude?
But don't we know the more exposure we get to a guy, don't we understand that he's a utility guy and not a starter for you? What does exposure do? It exposes you. It tells us who you are. Jerry Bohannon is a number 2. He is not a number 1. People love his size, and they always a dual threat. He's not a better dual threat than Jake Retzloff is. It's not close. I don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you make this argument. How is it that BYU fan every single year is calling for the backup quarterback?
Yeah, because I think they go off of experience and resume, and my point is like, cool, yeah, you got time, but that doesn't mean you're the best option. The best option is somebody who's shown you now today that he's the best option.
Yeah. The only reason they haven't named Jake Retzloff the starter is because they don't want attrition in the portal. Because you have 6-7 quarterbacks that can legitimately make a claim to a position on this roster. You need 3. Anyway. BYU fan loves their backup quarterback. And I don't, never understood it. You very rarely get a Notre Dame situation last year where that sex machine went off at quarterback.
And then shaved his beard.
Right? Like you very rarely get
Jackass.
that situation. Like you look at the best, there are some examples, a guy like Jalen Hurts, perhaps, who goes from Bama to OU. I mean, like Kyler maybe, but that was very different. Like you don't get a guy that shows up as at his third school through the portal and just takes off. Maybe even like a Jackson Dart. Like you look at Jackson going from USC to Ole Miss. You're talking about having a quarterback guru as your head coach. And you're talking about a situation where they built an offense to sustain him. And they did everything they could to develop him. Which is what's happening with Jake Retzloff right now, whether you want to believe that or not. They have a system and a talent base to support Jake Retzloff's style of play. Anybody notice what is Jerry Bohannon? Same skill set as Jake Retzloff. What does that tell you? That they have an offense that is catered to a truly dual threat quarterback. But the difference is you don't have Jake Retzloff with an excuse this year. And I think Jake will tell you, and I believe he has, this is it. Like if he does not fully win this job, take the reins and explode, he's probably never going to at BYU.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Make or break time. Exposure. And I love saying it. Exposure exposes you. And are you going to get overexposed or are you going to prove the naysayers wrong? We'll find out. Anyway, Delaric. So according to that think, only the most veteran players for the position should start, not the best player, which I don't understand. RJC loaner phone. Did Monty address LSU players walking off when they played the national anthem? They didn't walk off when they played the national anthem. I would if they had done that, but that's not what they did. Monty went into depression when Hartman shaved his beard. I did.
Yeah, that was a tough day, dude. Tough day.
That was not good. Jim McMahon should win the job. I mean, he's better than Jake Retzloff.
Jimmy Mack, dude.
And I believe that Steve Young only came back to the alumni game to try and win the starting job in fall camp. I mean, like, Steve Young should be the starting quarterback at BYU.
Yeah.
I mean. Hi. Mark Hales, good morning to you. Regardless of who starts, BYU is doomed. Okay, I like it. UW fan Jim. How good would Retzloff be if he had Rome to pass to? Jim Rome.
and
Jim
the
Rome is a 50-year-old quarterback, 50-year-old radio host, and now you want him to be a wide receiver at BYU?
Well, he's going to be faster than the other Rome. So I think there was a little confusion around which Rome we were discussing.
So we're watching SportsCenter this morning, and Elle Duncan is hosting the coverage of the Women's Elite Eight. And she says, as Commodus proclaimed, are you not entertained?
Oh, the only problem with that is, you guessed it, Commodus didn't say that, you jagoff.
Oh. How do you make that mistake and not fix it in post?
Buddy's name is Maximus, and you messed it up.
How do you not fix that in post? Commodus did not say that. Brandon Butler, good morning, my friend. BYU has always loved the backup more than their starter. Yes, they have. Way to stay on brand. Exactly right. Exactly right. Pause, bro. Sir Bob Lob Laws. Dirty debutantes having decent exposure. I really hated that from the LA Times. Yeah. That was some bullshit out of the LA. Did you see, though, that the LA Times wrote a piece, had a guy write a column where he called LSU the dirty debutantes. And it's unforgivable. Did you see that the LA Times in post retracted that statement and put a tag on that column that said previous versions of this piece did not meet the LA Times editorial standards? Maybe you should have had those editorial standards when you published it, calling women dirty debutantes, you fucks.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Okay, I feel better. That felt aggressive, but it felt like
I feel like that's how BYU is about Bohannon. They get all fired up like that and start cursing, and it just makes them uncomfortable.
Sir Bob Lob says, what is your favorite Roman Empire? Your mom.
That's right.
RJC loaner phone. To think I put taking a dump on hold to listen to BYU football QB room.
Well, yeah, you're here and now you've commented twice, so maybe you should go loan some toilet paper.
And
bud.
according to BYU fans, the quarterback room is where you go and take a dump.
I bet.
Okay, I'm probably making too much out of that. Mark Hales, does loving the backup tie into the history? Stop.
Damn, bro.
Stop.
You did not just go there.
Macaque.
The sister wife is always hotter.
Damn.
I think the portal and NIL changes the transfers too much narrative a bit. It does not. Because what it does is it exposes that. If Jerry Bohannon was all that, he'd be in Waco, the starting quarterback, making millions of dollars, and he would never have hit the portal.
But he's not, and he did, and so he's not.
Asking for a friend, why isn't Ollie Gordon in the portal? Because he's getting paid. He's tweeting about their collective. And as I told, and go back and look at Ollie Gordon's Twitter like a week ago. He tweeted, I'm happy where I am. Which I think we talked about yesterday, but it's fine. I don't believe that Ollie Gordon's going to transfer because he's making money. He's making money. I need some biscuits and gravy. Do tell. Do tell. Sir Bob Lob, real men don't put dumps on hold. That's what I'm saying. You take your phone into the... And speaking of which, real men also learn how to use air freshener so they don't peel the paint off the wall.
I do use air freshener, bro.
Right after you wipe back to front. Dirty fool. Caleb, why would you put a poo on hold, loaner phone man? Exactly right.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Exactly right. OG Gary, the dirty debutantes comment went through 2 levels of review and still got published. It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
To the LA Times, as usual. It's really frustrating. Tanner, I take dumps during the show all the time. In fact, I'm taking one now. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing. RJC loaner phone. I'm relieving myself now. Can't take it anymore. Best laxative there is BYU football.
Mm-hmm. But wait, I thought you said the Big 12 sucks.
Okay. Look, he's on a loaner phone. Is probably not working well. The LA Times behind the times. The LA behind the times. There you go. Toilet squad. Exactly right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about, because how did we get derailed? My God. How often do you see people in person? Jake has a new study about how stupid millennials are.
Damn, bro. It's not about millennials. This is a Gen Z conversation,
no, I'm
bro.
sorry. Jake has a conversation about how stupid Gen Zers are.
Damn.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, so basically the study says 40% of adults go days without face-to-face interaction.
Go days without face-to-face interaction.
And it also says inside of that 40% number, 60% of those people are 18 to 24. So these are potentially college people. These are potentially folks who are just out of college, like younger folks who I guess are just working and choose to stay in. I mean, I'm guessing that's how this happens, but I can't imagine going, let's call it 3 days straight without seeing another human being in person, like, or talking to somebody, or like, that's tough, bro. Like, do you, like, that next person you talk to, is that uncomfortable for you because it's been a minute? Like, but I think this is where the world is going right now, and it's tough.
I think that we, through the COVID dark period that Jim Harbaugh cheated during, we lost touch with people.
The coronavirus.
Right? Like, we lost touch with relationships. And again, this is why I say I'm lucky that I see my wife every day and Mrs. Monty. Anyway, I'm lucky that I see Jake every day. I'm lucky that I have an awesome life partner in Mrs. Monty. Like, I think this is one of these things where Gen Zers and the last round of millennials don't like going out. They don't like having friends. They don't like dating. They are recluses. All of these things. And I think it became easy not to have friends, not to have barbecues, not to do all of those social things. And I think like there's this other study that says Americans are wildly unhappy. Gallup does a poll each year. Americans turn out to be the 23rd happiest country in the world. And most surprisingly, happiness is the most unhappy demographic in happiness in the U.S. is people under 30.
Yeah.
You know what they say makes them most unhappy? The political climate. Do you know when they say that began? 2015. So for the last 8 years, you have been wildly unhappy.
Yes.
And I don't think it is a surprise that it is tied to politics, the incestuous, violent nature that our political system has become. I think it is the destruction of the Republican Party. I think it is the absolute breaking of the Democratic pipeline of talent. And so we wind up being un-American to Americans. And I think it feeds the level of unhappiness. I think the lack of trust that our political system is sowed in the media.
Yeah.
I think it's the fact that we can't believe anything that we see on TV. We can't believe anything that we read on the internet. I think Elon Musk taking over Twitter was a massive blow to the society of truth that we used to have. Oh, why do I say that? Because in the Gallup study, those are all things that Gen Zers and last rounds of millennials all pointed to. The absolute collapse of Twitter tells you, and people pointing that the collapse of Twitter is one of the things that makes them unhappy, tells you how important social media is to Gen Zers and millennials.
Yeah.
And I think it is really a demonstration of all the things we always talk about on the show. It's not money. It's not access to the American dream. It's access to health insurance. It's access to female reproductive rights. It's access to, I don't know, things like voting. It's a lack of candidates, quality candidates that have some kind of empathy for what we're going through in our homes. That's what makes people unhappy. Because you can't flip on Fox News anymore. You can't flip on CNN anymore.
Nah.
You can't flip on MSNBC anymore. You can't flip on your local media anymore.
And I think, when you take all that and you combine it with the fact that, the under 30 something is likely unable to afford to do the things they actually want to be doing, so you take that aspect, you combine it with everything he just said. Like, I think people are just kind of, for lack of a better word, just burned out. They're just tired of life being so, heavy the last, several years. And I think that's what's difficult is like, you have to, I think this is why people stay in. This is why, so the pandemic happens, the political angle, the housing angle, and now we're just in a place where it's like, yeah, dude, like I just rent my place and I hang out and I work from home, and so I walk my dog and go to the gym.
I think the disconnect with politics is really significant. I think that is a significant trend. I think this election cycle that we're going into, I think we are going to see violence. I think we are going to see more seeding of uncertainty. And I think when you look at all of the old heads that are getting out of politics, and people say, well, they're too old, we should have had term limits. Well, what about the 45-year-old senator that's deciding he's not going to run? What about the 50-year-old senator who's deciding he's not going to run because he's disenfranchised with the party?
Yeah.
It's not the 70-year-old, 80-year-old Mitch McConnell. It's the 50-year-old senator who's no longer going to represent the party.
Yeah, who you need for another 20 years.
Who can understand what Gen Zers and millennials are going through. And why is that? Because his kids are Gen Zers. Mitch McConnell doesn't give a flying fuck about what Gen Zers are going through. You know why? Because he doesn't even know they exist.
Right.
And I look at all of this, and I don't think it's necessarily Donald Trump's fault, but it's the movement that allowed Donald Trump. It's Jim Jordan has one of the most, and I don't remember how it was phrased, but he is as divisive as any political figure in the country right now. And those scores are going up. But why are those scores going up? And the other part that's interesting, it's not Republicans or Democrats. The divisive scores of these politicians are going up and up and up because we don't know what they're truly doing.
Yeah.
Because we don't believe the news and we don't watch the news.
And I think it's a cause and effect situation.
Yes.
I mean, it's not any one person's fault. I think, again, I'm definitely not here for the, you guys hate Republicans or you hate Democrats or what. Like, I think it's all their fault, dude. I think that there's heat on both sides. I think that, even to this day, people are still too committed to party lines and not committed to doing the right thing or like the logical thing for that helps the most amount of people possible. And I think, that's the hard part. You're looking at a generation in Gen Z who's following behind the millennial generation who was already disenfranchised. You were already frustrated with politics. So it's no surprise that Gen Z is not exactly engaged. And I think that is the tough part. Like, while it feels like politics is going maybe in this negative way and life is tough right now.
Yeah.
The reality of the situation is it's not going anywhere. It's paused right now. The progress that has been made is paused because the same pool, the 70-year-old politician is still speaking to the Gen X population because there's still enough Gen X to win elections. And so now it's the person who gets to the millennials who that's your way in. If you're a new politician, you got to get that level of support.
But it's what Giggity is talking about. This right here is consistently pointed out about Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan wants to prosecute people for ignoring subpoenas while he ignored a subpoena. Like, we don't want the rules applied to us.
Yeah.
And I think young people are smarter than that. And I think that it's one of those things where we struggle with, what's the right way to say? Maybe it's what you're saying. Like, I just don't think we have any normal thought process anymore.
No, it's so extreme now.
Where's the middle? Where's the common sense? What
is the thing that most people can get behind? That at least you can say, okay, well, hey, you might be a Biden person and I'm a Trump person or vice versa, or whatever the case may be, but this thing in the middle is what we can kind of come together on.
You know what you can get behind? None of us are Biden people. None of us are Trump people. Oh, we're Americans. That's what we should be getting behind, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're not getting behind being Americans. We're not.
And I don't know how you fix it. And so people are going to continue to be lonely. People are going to continue to be disenfranchised. And unhappy. I don't know what's going to fix that.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, there you go. There it is.
And BYU fan, be better. Be better.
Thank you to our friend Ryan from Big O Tires and American Fork for coming on the show. As always, Jake Retzloff Thursday at 7:30. Don't forget the Advocates, theadvocates.com. You guys, donate to the Advocates on Venmo. Those are our guys, and they're trying to fight hunger in our child populations, where we have young people that don't know where breakfast, lunch, and dinner are coming from. Get on Venmo. And I'm serious, please. Donate $5, $100, $1 million. Find it. Advocates donations. Advocates donations. Donate. In the box on Venmo, type Monty Child Hunger. Or if you don't want to shout us out, don't. Children's Hunger. Whatever you can give. 5, 10, $1 million. Please. Get on Venmo today. Do it right now. Don't say you'll do it later. Do it right now. Donate to the Advocates on Venmo. They are working with the Murray Children's Pantry to feed hungry kids in our communities. Advocates donations. Advocates donations. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.